Elanius. We are here today to do some very fun experimenting and art. We are going to be making our very own chalk paint. Yes, I said chalk paint. Normally you do chalk on the ground with something that looks like this. But we are today going to revolutionize the idea of chalk art. Here are the things we're going to need. We're going to need just a little bit of water and some cornstarch, I'll explain that in a little bit later, and then just some regular chalk and a grater. This is going to be very interesting to use and I'll show you why. So we are going to start. The main base of our chalk paint is going to be made with cornstarch and water. Now this is going to be a very interesting liquid because it doesn't work like most liquids do. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons of water. So go ahead and do that. Our tablespoon measurement here, just 2 tablespoons of water, and then we'll do the exact same thing, but with cornstarch. So we will do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now we are going to learn about something new today. Who here likes to learn? I'm sure everyone does. It's the best thing to do. So we are going to do 2 tablespoons of this, and what we're going to see is a very interesting liquid start to happen. As I put in the other one here, we will start to mix it together. Now, we're going to learn about a word. I'll show you this first. We're going to learn about a word called viscosity. Oh, that's such a big word. If you're at home, I want you to try saying this word right now. Viscosity. Oh, it's very exciting. It sounds like a fancy word, but all it means is the thickness or the thinness of a liquid. So how fast or slow it moves. Let me show you. Here, I have some water. When I pour it into a cup, it pours very fast. If I were to tip this over, it would just spill onto the ground, wouldn't it? That's because it has a low viscosity. It moves very fast and is a very thin liquid. This water has a low viscosity, whereas this here is some corn syrup. This has a much higher viscosity than water, so it moves very slowly. Do you notice how it drips much slower than water does? If I were to tip this over, it would take a little bit longer for it to get to the ground, wouldn't it? It's because of the viscosity. Now you must be wondering, well, what type of viscosity does our mixture here have? Well, it is very unique because our liquid here that we've created with cornstarch and water has almost a superpower. It has the power to change viscosity. So if you look, it looks pretty runny right now, doesn't it? However, if I were to slap this, you can't tell, but I want you to try it at home, it actually becomes very hard, almost like a solid. If I had a big pan of this, I could move my fingers through it as if it had a low viscosity, but then if I were to slap it, it would be hard, almost like I'm slapping the table, because the pressure makes all the molecules hook together and become one solid surface. Isn't that amazing? Science is so cool. So this is now the mixture we have. Some call it oobleck, which I think is a very fun word. We're going to take this mixture now and pour it into our last muffin tin. I put mine in muffin tins, but you can really put them in whatever you'd like. So we're going to pour this here as our last color. And then I'm going to take our green color here. And this part is pretty fun. We get to use our grater and we are simply going to grate it. I don't know if you have ever used a grater before, but do be careful because if you were to put your fingers, scrape them along here, that would hurt. So be careful if you're doing this. Go ahead and scrape some of it on the smallest grater size that you can. And just scrape some of it. You can see it's making a little pile of chalk dust down there. Okay. You can put in however much you want. If you do less, it'll make it a brighter or a lighter color. If you do more, it'll make it a more potent color. Okay, I think that's good. So we are going to now scoop this into our muffin tin. All right, here we go. I missed some of it, but that's okay. Science can be messy sometimes. So now we get to mix it together. You can use a paintbrush, whatever. I have lots of different sizes of paintbrushes so that we can use them to do lots of different designs and things. So we will mix it together. You can see see I've already made some other colors here so that we can go outside and make some colorful art here in just a second. Now you will even notice as you're stirring it, you can feel the change of viscosity, how it's sometimes thicker and sometimes thinner depending on how fast you stir it. If I do it slowly, it's pretty easy to move, but if I do it really fast, it becomes thicker. It's very interesting. I suggest you try that at your house. So there we have it. We have our last color, and now you have this wonderful chalk. Hello! We are now outside and get to experiment with our chalk paint. Join me as we get to create some art.